It can even involve apparently healthy habits like eating and exercise. This is where we get some of the eating disorders and things, or the binging and purging, for example. That becomes an addiction. And that gets set up in the brain as an addiction the same way smoking, or not exactly the same body physiology or addiction of that, but in the brain, in establishing neural pathways of addiction. And so we'll talk about that in a second. But exercise is another, a lot of people are addicted to exercise, So we have to be careful that we're not replacing one addiction that we're leaving with another addiction, and get used to the spaciousness, which is one of the key concepts in that book, Addiction and Grace by Gerald May. And I highly recommend that you read that book. It's excellent, because it ties in the spirituality and the medical science. It's excellent, excellent book. And so imbalance and overuse is key, and therefore the loss of control. So becoming aware of what it is you're becoming attached to. Is this healthy or not? Ask questions. Don't just let things in. Start catching your thoughts and the self-talk, and stop right there like a gate. What is this? Is this healthy or unhealthy? Does this lead to life, or does this lead to destruction of self or other? And so now the physiology of addiction, what I learned when I Google searched it, I found an excellent video. If you just Google search it, I can't remember who does it. It's a video at YouTube or Google, I believe. It's one or the other. It's called The Physiology of Addiction. And it talks about the addicted brain, and it goes into the brain chemistry, etc., and the neurochemicals, if you want to know a little bit more about that. And it does it in a very simple way, so you don't get bogged down and bored and whatever, with the details. In a way that you get the point, and you're able to use it for yourself, to know what to do now, and to get a plan for yourself, which is the whole point here. And so to getting back into freedom, getting your freedom back. And so I have it right now uploaded at MySpace page. If you ever see this video and I don't have, actually I have a Blog Talk Radio page. I'm going to give you the URL for that right now. Hopefully it'll be running for some time, but if you ever find that this URL is not there anymore, and I have no more talk show there, then you can, which I will have, I'm sure, for a long time, but you can Google search Physiology of Addiction, and I think it's at Google or YouTube, and I think they're owned by the same outfit. But anyway, it is right now playing at www.blogtalkradio.com/Bishop_Rebecca, and the B and R for Bishop Rebecca are capitalized. So the rest is small letters. So it's www.blogtalkradio.com/Bishop_Rebecca. B and R are capitalized for Bishop Rebecca. And it's over there archived in the Blip TV. If you turn on the Blip TV, oh no, it's actually on the page. That's right. I've also got a Blip TV there with several videos that I've done that are probably also at Google. So you might want to take a look in the archives there. If you click on the open book, it looks like, and then click on tab, it'll say episodes on one of the tabs there. You click that on, you'll see a whole archived shows there. And you could call them a talk show, radio talk show anytime, to do with the topic. Usually it's Christian Counselor cast, so it'll either be on overcoming of some kind. So it'll either be overcoming habits, or it'll be on mental health. We have a mental health week once a month. It'll be coping with stress, healthy behaviors, etc., like that. And so basically it's following after Romans 12:2, which is to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And so this is what I'm talking about right now. This is the scriptural, actual information that's out there that we've discovered medically, that this is actually the process to how the brain gets wired. It gets wired through repetition. And so because we didn't know what we were doing and what we were sowing, we really didn't mean to be reaping destruction. I don't know very many people that are out to destroy themselves, like willfully usually. So a lot of these addictions develop when we really don't realize the physiology that we're hardwiring into ourselves, or we might not actually do it if we believed it. But part of the problem here is unbelief too. There's an unrealistic thinking that's going on there, a magical thinking. And that's another thing that needs to be overcome, because that's another form of denial or lying, the storybook stuff, you know. And there is an absolute truth, and we know this, or there'd be no truth, there'd be no research, there'd be no facts, and there's lots of them, medical facts. And so this is what we're going to talk about now. Repetition works between, it creates neural pathways of communication between the seat of the personality. And now I'm getting this from the Addicted Brain, from Physiology of Addiction video. I just gave you the URL for there. And so the seat of personality is in the midbrain. And so it's the seat of primal urges, etc. And so neural pathways develop between there and our pleasure center, if you will, our reward center, and our avoidance of pain. They develop between there and the cortex, which plans for making these needs be met with plans. So we're able to make plans and think, and we don't have to act on impulse as long as we have these proper connections between the midbrain and the neural pathway. Now in this video it goes on to say that addictions, whether it be nicotine from or whether it be alcohol or drugs, excessive use of that actually destroys the pathway between the midbrain and the cortex. So we become less and less able to curb our impulses, and we become more and more animalistic, ruled by our impulses, not strong, but literally ruled by animal lower nature when we're created to be higher. And so that's where the strength comes in, the self-control, which is one of the fruits of the Spirit of Galatians 5:22 once again. And so to not be ruled, but to be ruling yourself. And so any repetitive thought, whether it be positive or negative, or action or habit or attachment, or let's just talk about attachments, even healthy ones or unhealthy ones. Either way, these create a communication tracks between the midbrain and the cortex of the brain. And so they create rutted pathways, neural pathways, and these are learned. This is learning. This is the process of learning. And so the more you repeat it, the more deeper the rut gets in the brain. And once we've got an addiction, that destroys that pathway, so that we're not able to. We're more driven. We've lost control. Now the way to get back control, you see, this is the purpose for me telling you this. The way to get back in control here is to understand that learning occurs through repetition, and that's down neural pathways that we can create new habits. But if we go back to the old habit, where we have the old habit here, where's my hand? here's the old habit. We go back to that. The neural pathway is already there, and the new habit is here. So